Good morning, church. I hope and pray that you are doing well this morning and that you are blessed by our God. I know that you are. If you're able to watch this, because that means you are alive, you are breathing, and how thankful we should be to our God at all times because of all the ways that He provides for us each and every day. I'm thankful that you are joining me this morning as well. Do me a favor. If you're watching this on Facebook, give a thumbs up or a like or a heart or something. And if you would, just make a comment. Let me know where you're watching from. It's always interesting to know who's watching, but also from where as well. Can't always tell that and know how far these videos are reaching, but also if you'd like to, also share these on your pages as well so that other people may I don't know if enjoy is the right word, but maybe be blessed by God, by the reading of His Word and the studying of His Word. I think that's a better way to put it. All right, we're continuing our study through Proverbs, as we call this W.O.W, Wisdom on Wednesday. We are in Proverbs chapter 13, and we're going to start in verse 5, and we're going to do about 4 verses this morning, so I hope you have your Bible with you. I hope that you have it open and you're ready for us to start this study. Notice verse 5 with me. It says, "The righteous hates falsehood, but the wicked bring shame and disgrace." When I read this proverb, one of the things that really sticks out to me is that word hates. Okay, because as we've talked about before, that's maybe a word we don't like our children to use, especially our younger children. And, we don't like people to say, "I hate you." It's like, ouch. That's one of those words that's almost like a knife. It just kind of cuts right through you when you hear it. Maybe it's not so bad when they say, "I hate broccoli." Okay, even though I might like broccoli, it doesn't hurt as much when they say, "I hate that." But are there things that we should hate? As Christians, are there things that we should hate? I didn't say people, I said things. And notice what the proverb writer says. The righteous hates falsehood. I ask you this question. What is something that really annoys you? Or really just makes you upset? For me, one of those things is when I know that somebody is lying to me. Okay, I cannot stand it. It really bothers me quite a bit. And, I think one of the reasons is because I know I can't trust that person. And so whatever else they say or they tell me, I always have to put it through the filter of, okay, is this fact or is this another lie? And to be honest, most of the times it's like, unless they prove it, this is probably a lie that they are telling to me as well. But for the righteous, for the people of God, isn't falsehood something that we should hate? I mean, it should leave that bad taste in our mouth. It should be something whenever we see or hear falsehood, we go, don't want that, don't need that, don't even want to be around it. Okay, it's something that we hate, right? I mean, if you were to hate a person, you wouldn't call them up day by day and say, "Hey, you want to hang out? Hey, you want to go out for coffee? Hey, let's talk on the phone for an hour or two." Okay, you don't do that, right? You'd be like, "Nope, don't want to be anywhere near, cannot stand." Okay, but notice the second part of the verse. It's an interesting thing here. It says, "But the wicked bring shame and disgrace." It's an interesting word here that we have for shame as we find it in the English Standard Version here, because it actually could be translated as stench, or it also could be translated to cause to stink. Okay, so this could be translated, but the wicked causes to stink and brings disgrace. Okay, what does the wicked do? Okay, they do not bring good things. They do not produce good things, right? All right, do you like to be around things that stink and smell bad? And no. I mean, if you walked into the grocery store and in the fish section, it had gone bad. And when I mean bad, it gone bad. I mean, to the point to where you can almost see the stench of fish just everywhere. You go, woo-wee! And you probably don't take your cart and just continue to go shopping. It's like, oh, I really want to check this out. Let's see what this is. I don't know. Maybe I'll check out that over there. No, you're probably headed out the door. You're going to go to somewhere else. You're like, I'm not going to be here. And that's the way it is with the wicked, okay? Because they bring a stench, okay? They cause things to stink. But also, they bring disgrace with them as well. Yeah, notice verse 6. It says, righteousness guards him whose way is blameless, but sin overthrows the wicked. Okay, it's an interesting proverb that we have here. It says, righteousness guards him whose way is blameless. Okay, righteousness, of course, those who do what is right. Another way to think of it is God always does what is right. So if you are doing what God does, if you are following the ways of God, if you are following Him, then you are following the ways of righteousness. And what does righteousness do for us? It guards us. It guards us who are blameless. Not to say that we never sin, that we never mess up, that we never stumble, but it's something that guards us. It protects us. It keeps us from evil, right? Okay, another way I like to think about it is the church. Why did God give us the church? Because He knew that we needed protection, I think. He knew that we needed community. He knew that we needed others to encourage us in this world, because He knew this world and Satan would constantly be bombarding us, shooting his flaming arrows at us, trying to get us to stumble. So we needed others to encourage us, to those three chords to find strength with, if you will, to find protection with. And so I think about that with the church, that, if we are around other people who are following the ways of God, there's security there. There is strength there that we are able to find, and we can encourage each other. We can spur each other on to good things to keep us from stumbling and falling away as those who do not have the church or others to encourage him. So righteousness guards him whose way is blameless. We must continue to seek righteousness, the ways of God. But notice the last part of the verse. But sin overthrows the wicked. If you have children, do you ever advise them on who they should be friends with and the people that they should be hanging out with? Okay, let me put it this way. Okay, if your kids are hanging out with kids that are doing what is right and whatnot, and they like to serve others, maybe volunteer their time and whatnot, you're like, okay, that'd be something good for my kid to also be involved with. And I hope my kid is doing those things. And kids that encourage others, and they don't name call other kids and try to make other kids cry and feel bad about themselves. But on the other hand, if your kid is hanging out with kids who like to steal, who like to lie, are you shocked when your kid starts to do the same things? Or whenever your kid comes to you and, I can't believe it, they stole from me. Really? I mean, if you're hanging out with thieves, don't you figure at some point they're probably going to steal from you as well? So righteousness guards him whose way is blameless, but sin overthrows the wicked. All right, notice verse 7 with me. One pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. Okay, have you ever heard the phrase, don't judge a book by its cover? Do we ever do that? Do we see people and immediately we make a judgment on what kind of person that is? or what kind of life they have, or maybe what kind of friends they have, or maybe if they don't even have friends at all. One pretends to be rich, yet has nothing. Another pretends to be poor, yet has great wealth. I think it's interesting that, sometimes as we go through life, we can really stumble if we judge people just by their looks. Okay? Whenever I was in Dumas, their Amarillo College campus there, I heard I don't want to say a story, but I heard of a person that worked there at the college that was one of the custodians that would clean the building. And it was an older gentleman. And another person that worked there said, actually, he is a millionaire, okay, a multi-millionaire. But he didn't like retirement. He didn't like sitting around doing nothing, okay? He wanted to work. He wanted to be around people. And he definitely wasn't too proud to clean after other people. But if you were to go into the school and look at him, your first judgment probably wouldn't be, this is one of the richest people in town. Okay? This person has a lot of wealth. You would probably think quite the opposite. Okay? Don't judge a book by its cover. Also think about sometimes walking around church parking lots. Okay? Not necessarily here in Panhandle, but in other places too. Sometimes you walk into a parking lot and you see pickup trucks, and you see some nice fancy new pickup trucks, and you go, oh, that person must be well off. And sometimes it's not the case that they are. But then you come across an old beaten down pickup truck sometimes, and you go, oh, that person's probably struggling, just trying to get as much as they can out of this pickup truck. But come to find out, maybe it's a rancher, maybe it's a farmer that has done quite well. Just doesn't need the new fancy pickup truck. He likes his old truck. Okay, so don't judge a book by its cover. I think that might be one of the points that Solomon is trying to get across here. All right, last proverb we're going to cover this morning, or it might be this afternoon, or it might be this evening that you're watching this, or it might be a totally different day or week. Whatever time it is that you are watching this, we are on to our last verse, our last proverb for this video. It says this: the ransom of a man's life is his wealth, but a poor man hears no threat. All right, it's an interesting proverb. Okay, if I was to ask you the question, okay, this would be would you rather question. I used to do this all the time with my youth groups. Ask them would you rather questions, like would you rather be able to fly, or would you rather to have superhuman strength? Okay, those kind of questions. And then you always ask, well, why did you choose what you have chosen? Okay, here's your would you rather question. Would you rather be rich, or would you rather be poor? All right, I'm waiting. See? All right, most people choose and would say they'd rather be rich. Okay, there's some of you out there that would just be like, no, I don't want to be rich. No, don't want to do it. But are there stumbling blocks to being rich? Okay, have you ever seen on the news those that have won the lottery and you go, wow, I wish I could be that person. But then come to find out later that it didn't take them very long to blow that whole fortune. Okay, we also think maybe of sports athletes. I was reading about this just the other day, about the percentage of NFL and NBA players and how long it takes for them to go bankrupt. For a large percentage of them, it just takes a couple of years after they stop playing before they have gone bankrupt. And you go, wow, how? No, that wouldn't happen to me. How could that be? But there's pressures that come with being rich, right? Solomon would know all about that. He was a very rich man. The ransom of a man's life is his wealth. Okay, there might be people that come and seek you out because of your wealth. Okay, and there can be problems that can come with that. But notice the last part of this verse. It's interesting. It says, but a poor man hears no threat. Why does the poor man hear no threat? Well, because people don't want what he has. It seems to be the reasoning here. And isn't that interesting? And so maybe for a poor man, there's a little bit more peace of mind. You go, well, how can that be? Okay, the rich man has his retirement. He has security. If he has illness that comes upon, he'll have the money to take care of those things. If his children need a good education, he has it. And da 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 da. But when you don't have those things, maybe there's a lot less stress in not having to keep it, not have others take it from you, getting in trouble, if you will, with it, like we talked about with the athletes and maybe those that win the lottery. Not saying all athletes do, not saying that everybody that wins the lottery is going to blow it and are very foolish. I'm not saying that. Okay? But here's the wisdom that Solomon gives us. The ransom of a man's life is his wealth, but a poor man hears no threat. Okay, so maybe rich is not the greatest thing in the world. Okay, maybe it's not something that we should be striving to. Okay, of course we know that what we should be striving to, that should be righteousness. That should be following the steps of our Savior, Jesus Christ. That should be being a disciple of Christ. Okay, back up here where we talked about in verse 6, the righteousness guards him whose way is blameless, but sin overthrows the wicked. And I talked about the importance of the church and the wisdom of God giving us the church. If you're not a part of a congregation, let me know, and maybe I can help you to find one. If you're in Panhandle or around Panhandle, I happen to maybe know of one of such a congregation. But if you're not, and you're another part of the country or maybe even another part of the world, I might be able to help you as well. And if I can't, I can probably pass this information along to somebody else who would know somebody that could as well. There's an importance to it. Okay, find a church if you're not a part of one yet, and I think you will be amazed at how much it helps you in your walk with God, and you'll be able to see the wisdom of God in it. All right, that's our lesson for today. That is your wow time, under 20 minutes. So hopefully you were able to get something out of this. Like I said, give me a like, give me a comment, let me know where you're watching from, as far as a town, city, country, whatever. You don't have to say from my recliner or in the garden or whatever, but you can if you want to. Okay. Also share if you feel like you want to, and maybe others might get some benefit from this as well. God bless. Have a great week. Remember, God loves you. So do I. God willing, we'll see you next week.